So I'd like to go through one of my blue hour infrared images of Seattle. This was taken actually the same night as this image here, but this one was taken with the 470 nanometer hypercolor filter. The one I'm working on is from it's either the 550 or 590 supercolor. I forget which one I have. And I want to go through and show you how this all works with blue hour, because most people are used to shooting infrared at middle of the day times, and they don't really think too much about blue hour cityscapes with the lights on in the city, and it just gives the city a whole different look than a normal color image. So let's go ahead and jump back into my computer. So here we have the raw image. Like I said, it was the, I think the 550 or 590, I don't know which one I have, filter. And so what we want to do is go through the optics. Let's do the remove chromatic aberration, profile correction, scroll down to Sony FE, because this is my Sony 100 to 400. Now, if you have the DNG profile editor, there's plenty of videos online how to make yourself a profile for your infrared camera. And that's what I have set up for my older infrared camera. So if I go into, let me go back here, go into profile, and I've got this browse, and I come down to IR swap. This is the folder I made. It has all these different versions, and I have all these from the clear panel. If you buy that, it goes through how you create all these different swaps and get them into Camera Raw or Lightroom. So let's go to swap 1, and if you were using Lightroom, and you'll have all these, this is your starting point now. This is basically almost like a channel mixer in Photoshop for your images. That way, in case you don't like using Photoshop and you're more of a Lightroom person, gives you that channel swap ability. Now I'd like to go into contrast. Let's increase contrast, because the profile I have has a flat tone curve. When you're making your profile, the curve kind of does this arc in it. And I flatten that out, and that's how it gives you that kind of flat look here. See how it's kind of flat, not a lot of contrast. So let's go ahead and increase the contrast, bring down some highlights, open up shadows just a little bit. Then we'll come into the calibration, bring this up onto there. Now let's go into color. Let's go ahead and add some. And because the channel swap, if you add yellow, it turns to blue. If you add blue, it turns to yellow. As you can see, it's kind of, so you got to think in terms of the opposite of what you want to do. That looks kind of good. Let's bring in just a touch of green here. A little bit of vibrance, touch of saturation. Then we want to work down here on these bushes. What we'll do is go into color mixer and then go into the hue, click the little plus with the circle. We'll stand on these and just kind of, you can see how it changes the color here. So we'll do some of that. Let's go into saturation, add some saturation to it. All right, now let's go ahead and go back into color. I want to kind of give it a little bit more of a greenish look here. Something kind of like that. You can see, let me get rid of this here, call that good. You zoom in, you can see my little hotspot from my 100 to 400. We'll just fix that later. This is what this lens does, just a really small, hard hotspot in my image. Let's go ahead, increase some vibrance a little bit more, a little bit of saturation. Let's go back down to our calibration, add a little bit more of that. Something similar to that. Let's try the green primary. Yeah, something like that. I'm really liking the sky. I need to do something different with the sky. So let's go and do, oh, that's more what I'm looking for. Something like that. Okay, so we'll open this up in Photoshop. And so this is our starting point. Let's go ahead and add a channel mixer. I'm going to do something different. I'll go to the green primary. Let's do 0 for green, 100 for blue. Then we'll change to blue and go 0 for blue and 100 for green. Now let's add another channel mixer, and we'll just do the standard red-blue swap. 0, 100 in the red on the blue channel. Go into the red, 0, and then 100 on the blue. Now we have more something like this. Now here's the interesting thing about infrared. If I swap these, it gives you a totally different look. You see green to pink, put them back down, purplish blue and greenish yellow. Totally different looks. So I prefer this look. Now let's go ahead and add a, what are we doing? Curves adjustment. Let's go ahead and hit the option and the auto. Ooh, I kind of like that. A little darker, more contrast. It's a little too much. Let's just cancel that. Let's just do our own here. Just kind of decrease the shadows, increase the highlights a little bit. Do a hue saturation layer. And now let's just drag the hues around. Something. Where do we want to stop here? Do something kind of like that. Let's do add a saturation. Not too much though, because then you'll start to make things weird. So let's do our color picker here. Let's go ahead and click on that. Add some saturation to that. Make it a little bit more orange. Let's go ahead and do something with these lights here. Let's go ahead and change those. It's got a little bit kind of a red-green look to it. See if this, yeah, I think brighten those up a little bit. I'd like to do a, kind of one of my favorite programs is Color Efex Pro. Is Color Efex Pro? Something like that. Yeah, Color Efex Pro 5. Do a tonal contrast. And you can see it, defaults to just way overkill. So we'll do the highlights at 10%, midtones at 15%, shadows at 10%, saturation goes 0. Let's add some pro contrast and bring the slider up a little bit, bring the correct contrast up a little bit. I don't think we want to really touch the color contrast, color correct cast. I think that looks pretty good, a little more contrast in it. Go ahead and click apply. I have the more contrasty image. Let's do another hue saturation. Then we'll do, let's go ahead and do pinks again, kind of make those a little bit more orangey or more bright red, I guess. Let's do the lights here. Let's kind of see if we can change those a little bit. A bit more on the bluish side. Something like similar to that. Now let's go ahead. What I want to do is let's kind of tone down the lights a little bit. So we'll go make a color luminosity mask. We'll pick the color of all the lights. Click OK. Now it should just be, see, just the lights. Do a curves adjustment with just, if I stand on the mask here, see it's just the color of the lights. Let's go up to here. Let's kind of bring these down a little bit so that they're not, especially the wheel. It's not working as well as I want. So what we'll do is do a brightness contrast. If I hold the Alt or Option key and stand on the mask with the curves, and it'll just drag up. And then now the mask is on the brightness contrast. Let's get rid of the curves layer here. Now I'll stand on this one. Now let's bring these down a little bit. What we'll do, I'm going to do another hue saturation. Actually, let's get rid of that. What I want to do now, let's make a merged layer. Let's go back into Filter, Camera Raw. Let's zoom into the hotspot here. Radial gradient. Put it right in the middle there. Something about like that. Now let's go ahead, bring the exposure down a little bit. Do the color, add some yellow to it. So once you open this image back up into Camera Raw, then when you move your temperature in your tint, then it goes the way it's supposed to. If I move it towards yellow, it adds yellow. If I move it to the blue, it adds blue, and so forth. So let's go ahead. Now we will add a touch of green. Something like that. That looks pretty close. I'll open this back up. Let's go ahead. Let's actually work on this. And you can see the building here, how it's just not good, right? Because you can see where the hotspot is. It makes everything pink. So I'll go ahead, do the darken clone stamp tool, and we can just pick some area down in here. We can just kind of brush this in a little bit. Now we can pick something here and just kind of work our way up the image, work our way back down the image, work our way over to where we have something like this. Makes brush smaller, and then we can get in and go around all these areas here. Just clean them up. I'm not gonna get too involved in this because you get the idea of how to do this. And then for the ring here, kind of the same thing. You can just do darken. Let's drop the opacity down, make the brush bigger, make sure it's a soft brush. Just kind of sample from over here, and then just kind of lightly brush it in. Something like that. Let's go ahead. Let's kind of bring this in a little bit more. Something like that. Because unless you know it's there, nobody's going to see that. And if they do, well, they're an infrared expert, I guess. Maybe something like that. Okay. Good enough fix on the hotspot. Let's make it bigger. Let's do another hue saturation. Stand on this color. Kind of really bring in some reds. Actually, you know what we'll do? Let's do a curves adjustment. Go to the red. Then bring this. That's what I'm looking for. Something like that. Now let's go to the blue. This should... Actually, we'll just leave that one as is. That's more what I'm looking for. All right, I think that is... You know what I want to do now? Let's go ahead and add a Orton effect here. Let's see, what was that? That was about 42, because this is my old A7R infrared camera. Now we have the Orton effect. Now let's just add this to the bright parts of the image. Let's do a brights 2 luminosity mask. I think that looks pretty good. So let's go ahead, click on the Orton effect, click apply. Now the effect is only, if I zoom in here, only on the brightest parts of the image. So I think that is about it. Other than if we make another merge layer, we can get in close here. Let's go ahead and do a spot healing brush. Make the brush size smaller. There's an airplane there. Get rid of that. There's like some sort of spot there. Get rid of that. And you just kind of go through your image looking for any sort of weird, let's get rid of those. Oh, that didn't work. Something like that. Oh, I saw a big spot. There it is. Let's get rid of that big ugly spot. I know there's another plane in here somewhere. Let's see. Oh, here's a spot here. Just kind of do this real quick. Here's my other plane. Get rid of that. And I think we'll just call that good. The actual image I have on my website actually ran it through the DxO Pure Raw, and it got rid of all this high ISO noise. So it's really clean image. And I fixed all this hotspot here properly, and I didn't do as terrible of a job as I did here. So now with this, you can see just so many different options when it comes to infrared. Blue hour, cityscapes, it just, use it for everything. However, I will say, morning blue hour doesn't work all that well. Something, I'm guessing it's the amount of light in the atmosphere or something, just doesn't work as well as blue hour sunset. So think about that. But don't just think, oh, it's only used in the harshest times of the light and, you know, all that, because that's when the most UV or infrared light is around. Blue hour, sunset, middle of the day, anything. Infrared can be used for anything. Having said that, I really need to get out with my infrared camera more. I've just been kind of lazy. You know, I've been really struggling getting out with that camera. I think because once you kind of shoot all the same stuff over and over, you're kind of like, I need a new location to go shoot, and I just haven't had time to really get anywhere. A blue hour cityscape in a nutshell, with the lights of the city, how you can just change anything you want, how having 2 channel mixer layers, if you swap them, completely changes the outcome of your image. Play around, use your imagination, and just have fun with it. There's no rules, there's no anything with infrared. Just go out, have fun, enjoy the editing process, and see what you come up with. It's only your imagination that's going to slow you down. So anyway, thanks for watching. If you have any more questions about infrared photography or infrared cameras or anything, please feel free to leave them in the comments and I'll answer them as best I can. And I'll see you in the next video.